The station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for supporting our channel by watching and listening.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
When life shapes us, when love anchors us, when loss changes us, we are not left behind. We are carried forward, held by faith, rooted in purpose, finding our way. This is Carried Forward, a space for stories of resilience, purpose, and forward resolve. Hi, welcome to Carried Forward. Today's episode is very special to me. Many of you have heard my story of losing Andy, my husband, but I've realized throughout this whole process that grief reshapes not only the spouse, but also just the whole family. My daughter Athena was 6 when Andy got sick, and she was 10 years old when he passed away. And today she's here with me because I want to give her space to share her perspective of growing up through that experience.
Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to share my experience with you guys. I'm 20 years old, so it's been 10 years since he passed. So I'm excited to share.
And I'm so excited to have her here. It's just so special. She's, even if she wasn't my daughter, she's a beautiful person inside and out, and so intelligent. And I see just wonderful things in her that I'm always blown away by. I do feel that this experience in her life of losing her father and having a single parent, and just the whole experience has shaped her in many ways, but I'm super excited to hear specifically from her, and not just my own assumptions of what I think based on how we've experienced together. And I am going to ask her a couple of questions as we go through and give her time to talk about that. I have told her that if she's uncomfortable with any question that I do ask her, she can pass, and just we'll move forward with that. So I'm glad that you're here today with us to listen to a daughter's perspective on loss at a young age, and then now she's 20, and what that means and how that has maybe changed how those years have been experienced by her. Although I will say that this is her one and only experience like this, so she can't really speak from not having that happen to having it happen. But I think it's going to be a beautiful time together, and just conversation in regards to a daughter's perspective on losing her father. We're going to start with some questions about her dad, because I'm interested to hear maybe one of her favorite memories from her dad's interaction with her as she was little, or even one that she's heard from us.
I always really enjoyed going to SeaWorld with him in the summers. He'd take me almost every single day, and go on all the roller coasters and do like anything. He was very much a part of the activity. He was never just like a watcher. He was always like, I'm doing it with you. So yeah, just memories like that where he would be actually a part of the activity that I was doing.
He loved roller coasters. So when he had, I used to go on roller coasters with him, and that's how I actually found out I was pregnant with Athena. We went on one too many roller coasters, and I wasn't used to getting sick. And then I got sick, and I was like, "Oh, this isn't right." And I found out that I was pregnant with Athena. So he was always a big time roller coaster rider and get involved. He liked to be hands on. I think he got that from his dad. His dad is really involved and hands on with kiddos, and he kept that in his life. And he loved having a daughter that he could go and do things with.
We'd go to Six Flags too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I remember all the fun times you guys used to. I didn't always get to go because I worked when Athena was little. And I mentioned it in my first podcast. Andy had decided to stay home with Athena. Or we had decided that Andy would stay home with Athena. So sometimes they got to do fun adventures together while I went to work. But now that I look back on that, I'm so grateful for that, even more than I was then. What made him unique? You kind of answered that a little bit, but is there anything else that made him?
He was really smart. Like, he would be able to answer your questions very knowledgeably. And yeah, just that he was always a part of whatever I wanted to do. So like the bike rodeo, like we would, like he would go and ride his bike with me and help me learn how to do all the maneuvers and stuff like that. And I ended up winning like 5 years straight or something like that.
She did, yeah.
So
she made it to like higher up even.
Yeah. And so yeah, it was always his goal to just spend time with me.
Yeah. And how'd that make you feel? Because I was going to put in there like I do sometimes, like, oh, did it make you feel this way? But how did that make you feel with him doing that kind of stuff?
Important.
Like,
yeah.
He had a special way of making people that he loved feel important and seen and just special. He was there with you in the moment. He wasn't thinking about other things. Yeah. Okay. What is something people should know about him? I mean, we've talked to quite a few little things, but anything else that you would like people to know about him?
That he was he knew a lot of things, like random things, I feel like he would always be able to kind of answer your questions, he just knew. He was very knowledgeable.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. He was intelligent. Like, you could ask him just about anything and he would have some knowledge in it, or tell you where
to
find that knowledge.
Yeah,
for sure. Even I mean, I know you were 6 and younger when you had those experiences with him, but even as an adult, I mean, that's what attracted me to her dad, Andy, is because I felt like, wow, he is someone I want to do life with. Because like he had things figured out. He may not have the answer, but he knew where to get it. And he wasn't, if he didn't know the answer, he wasn't concerned. He knew that he'd be able to figure it out, right? And when you have someone like that in your life, you feel calm and you feel like we can do anything, right? Like, as long as he's here, we can do anything because we're going to figure this out. Yeah, those are really good. I like those. I haven't thought about all that in a while. Like, just, yeah, he was just a calming presence because you knew you were going to figure it out even if you didn't know what to do, like if he was there.
And he took life seriously, but not too seriously where it was like anxious, like he was very good at knowing when you don't need to be that serious about things.
Yeah, much better than mom. Yeah, he did. He knew life was serious, and he did serious things, like officer in the Air Force, and um, NCO in the Army. But he also knew when not to be serious, when life you could cut up and laugh and not be stressed out about the small things. He didn't sweat the small things at all. That's true. So we're going to talk a little bit about when he was sick, because from ages of 6 to 10, Andy was sick, and that was Athena's life. That was her dad, and that's what she knew, and kind of how things progressed. What do you remember from that time, from him being sick?
I remember a lot of it. I always tell people that it was more like I had a little brother for those times. Like he seemed more like a little brother, because of the dementia that he had. But I remember his decline, like when he stopped being able to verbally speak, or he would just like randomly kind of shout things.
Yeah.
But I don't remember like if it was a specific day that he just like stopped speaking or.
Yeah, it really wasn't. Yeah, it was. I mean, that's interesting that you remember it like that too, that it kind of just faded away. Like, yeah, because no, like he started to like garble his words. Like he would be speaking and then they would just kind of get jumbled together, kind of like, I don't know. I always thought of like if you had letters on a refrigerator or something and you just like smushed them all together. That is kind of just how his talking happened. And then slowly, I think he just got annoyed with that and just kind of stopped talking. Like he still made noises and stuff. I mean, and then I don't think the words would come out anymore. And I mean, that was the deterioration of his temporal lobes happening there. But that's interesting that you remember that too. Like he just kind of would yell sometimes and then kind of stopped. Yeah. So
that's one of the major things. I remember he really liked cookie dough and sunflower seeds.
He did.
Very much.
He made himself allergic to sunflower seeds, actually.
Yes.
He ate so many that
he would have like a whole bottle, like a empty liter bottle, and that's where he would spit the sunflower seeds. I remember that very specifically.
What do you remember? Because I always wondered about like when I would be at work and you guys would be at home. Like, what do you remember about those times? How was that?
I remember like sometimes he would say things that he like wouldn't have said before that were kind of like picking on me. That's when I first noticed like there's something different. As like I said, like the little brother thing, like he would say like, I remember like, you're meaner.
Yeah.
Or, like meanie.
Yeah, meaner.
Yeah. Or that's the main one I remember. But he would say like little things to kind of poke at me. And I was a very sensitive child, so so I would get my feelings hurt about that
I didn't think
stuff.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and but that's like the main things I remember. Um, and
And he would poke.
him, yeah, poke.
You.
Remember him picking me up at school. He'd always bring me a lollipop.
Yeah.
But then it started to get where he was showing up before school was out.
That's right. Oh, I do remember.
And the teachers were like telling me.
Yeah, that's right.
And because he'd show up, but he knew to come get me, but he couldn't like remember what time to come get me. So he would just come to the school.
That's right.
But he'd always have a lollipop. He'd always have the blow pop for me.
Yeah, he did.
And I'd get so excited for it.
Oh, he did. I remember that. And she was talking about when he would show up to school. And this was when we were trying to, I was trying to figure out what was going on with him. And he knew he needed to pick her up from school, but it seems like he didn't remember like what time. So we did have some days that he showed up to school and it kind of caused a disturbance. I remember getting a call about that because he was there to pick up Athena, but he couldn't remember what time, or he didn't associate time very well anymore. And again, this was before we really realized his diagnosis, because his diagnosis didn't happen until like about a year after he started showing kind of strange behaviors. Mm-hmm. So it was a process. Can you talk a little bit about what maybe was confusing during that time frame? Because again, this is a good lead up. Like it was a year, mm-hmm. and I didn't know what was going on with him, and then therefore she didn't know what was going on with him. I mean, because she's 5-6 years old, and I'm still trying to figure out what in the world. So yeah, that I'm interested. What was confusing?
I think mainly because you seemed alarmed as well. Like I could tell that there was something going on, but like you didn't know what was going on either. So I guess that was the confusing thing, because when you're young, you like your parents, you feel like they know everything, or like they just know the answers.
Yeah. And
so like when I would ask what was going on or something, and you would say like, oh, I don't really know either, or something like that, then that would be like I was kind of confused about that. And then I feel like when I would go to like my friend's house or something like that, or they would come over to my house and they wouldn't really understand what was going on, I'd be confused more of like internally, not as like literally confused, but kind of confused, like what is happening, like why is this different, if that makes sense.
Kind of like, why is this different from my friend's house?
Yeah, or like, or even like why did they seem like it's so different? Because to me it was kind of normal, because that was just my life. And so when they would come over and be kind of somewhat afraid or
standoffish,
or like not wanting to come over to the house because they knew that there was something wrong with my dad, then I'd be confused, like I don't understand why
what's the big deal.
Okay,
that's true. And I probably didn't help with that confusion, because what I had tried to make for Athena is just like that our home life was normal. Like I explained things to her, and I tried to make it seem like, oh, everyone deals with stuff like this, because I didn't want it to be a big traumatic trauma. Like it was going to come with enough trauma as already. So I think that I did try to make it feel like, oh, this is just our life.
Which I don't think that was a bad thing to do.
No,
So.
yeah. And then I did always try to explain to the parents about your dad. Like if the kids were coming over, I would always make the parents aware just in case they didn't want the kids to come. But I didn't ever explain anything to the kids really until they were at the house. I always expected the parents would like sit down and have a talk with them. But now that I'm thinking about that, they probably didn't. Like, I mean, who does that? Like, okay, you're about to go to Athena's house and Athena's dad is, they probably didn't. So I can see that. Thank you for being honest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can see where that would be confusing. Like, what's their big deal? It's just my dad.
As I'm older, I like understand how it is now, but when I was younger and I was like, oh, they just don't want to come over.
Yeah.
So they think I have a weird family or something like that.
I could see that. Which, I mean, I'm glad that I did what I did and just made it normal for you, but I can see where it could cause, like, it's going to cause a different problem, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what helped you feel safe?
Consistency. Like having things that I did the same every day. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like when I would come home and my doodah, my grandpa, would make me a snack every day after school.
He did, yeah.
And like knowing that it was gonna
be there. Yeah, that was really good. So
that's just one example. But
so Chris is her doodah, her grandpa. That's what we call him. That's Andy's dad. They had came down and moved from Michigan after finding Andy's diagnosis, and we lived close together, and then eventually we all lived together. And he was very consistent about Athena's snack. He would always make it fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like little faces and stuff like that.
And we would have dinner every day. It's usually the same
time.
Same time, and same, like Tuesdays were meatloaf. Mondays were salmon.
Yeah, that is true. And that is very thankful to her doodah.
I was very that was very helpful to me because I always knew that like that was taken care of. Does that?
Yeah, I love that. I never really thought about that, the consistency, because our life was not super consistent.
Yeah,
there was always something happening and things changing with Andy's decline. And then me, I was always trying to figure out the next thing that I needed to do to help Andy and to help her. And and just keeping our family unit operating in normalcy. So that's really good. So the consistency.
Yeah.
And what else?
I think hobbies like the horseback riding. I was very into horseback riding. And so again, that was kind of a consistency thing that I would do every week.
That's true.
It was also kind of an outlet.
Yeah. At 6, she loves animals. She's always loved animals to this day. She loves animals.
Mm-hmm.
And so I realized that she really liked horseback riding, and I heard good things about horses and trauma and all that. and so I like looked into horseback riding, and we went out to find a place in not far from the house in Bernie. And she started horseback riding. She did cross country, and you first started in dressage, which is dancing with the horses, I always think of.
Yeah.
And then, kind of. And then from dressage, you went
show jumping,
to show jumping,
and then
and
eventing
then
a little bit.
and then a little bit of eventing. So
And
she
then I went back to show jumping.
then show jumping. Yeah, she had some broken arms from that, or a broken arm. Yeah.
I broke my wrist.
On her wrists. Yeah, but she forever has that ability to ride horses. Yeah, that's good. The horseback riding was a win. Yay.
Yes.
What else? What else was helpful? Or
I think at that time school was really helpful for me. Being able to focus on school
yeah,
and doing well. And I know a lot of my teachers were also really helpful and made me feel safe. I had some really great teachers. So.
Yeah, she did have some really great teachers in San Antonio. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we still know some of them today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you had a really good counselor too.
Mhm.
The school, her elementary school, I made them aware of the situation, and I was so thrilled. They did have a counselor, a school counselor on staff that made Athena feel seen, I think, and heard. But that's just my
Yeah.
input. Yeah, she did really well. So
I
good
still
job.
I still have the dragonfly kite she gave me, and even a dragonfly tattoo
Yeah,
from
that's true.
the little book, Water Bugs and Dragonflies.
Water bugs and
I think
dragonflies.
that's what it's called.
Really good book that
Uh,
helped Athena.
so
So if you have kids out there, look that book up. But we won't say any of their names because they may not want to be on podcast. But it was an elementary school in San Antonio that did really well. So school counselors do actually help.
sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I think they get a bad rap, but not everyone is the same. But in our case, she helped
Yeah.
a lot. Anything else you want to that helped you along the way, or during that time, or even beyond? Like,
You helped me a lot, you'll say.
oh, thank you. I'm
Mhm.
glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. Yeah, I try. Yeah, thanks.
Mhm.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about losing him,
Okay.
like his death. So Athena was 10 when Andy passed away. So that is just pause and think about that. So she was 6 years old when her dad got sick. And that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are some big ages to go through when your dad is declining in kind of the opposite direction, and you're like growing and becoming a little person. So just pause for a moment and think about that from 6 to 10 about your kids and their development. And it was a lot. It was a lot. But Athena, I will say that Athena was a wonderful child. She tried to be the best that she could be, and sometimes didn't get the attention she needed. This is me speaking, because there was only one of me. Even with grandparents that came down, Andy's parents, it was still. It took the three of us to take care of Andy, along with additional help. And then the three of us were working together to make sure Athena's life was as normal as possible. But we weren't always able to keep those balls up in the air and give her the attention she needed. But she worked through that, and I think became a better person for it, to adapt to that kind of situation. But in losing him, what did that time feel like? Because you were 10, about to go to 11. You were when your dad passed away.
So the specific time that he passed away, what did that feel like? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Or just in general?
Just in general, but you can talk specifically about that day that he passed away, which was in January.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I was in 5th grade. I remember that day a lot, actually. And I remember you coming into my room and saying, "I've got some bad news." So I still remember that very.
Maybe
It wasn't like I've got some bad news. It was like it was very sad or
Okay.
distraught. And Aunt Amy was there. I think I didn't go to school that day. Or maybe I did.
You did, because I needed you to go to school, and I needed you to have some normalcy.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I did go to school that day, which actually helped. I know it sounds a little bit
Harsh,
but it did help because I wasn't just sitting there thinking about it. I was at school, and sometimes it would leave my mind occasionally, and I'd be able to just kind of feel normal for a little bit.
Yeah. That's kind of why I had you go to school. So yay, my thought process was good. I didn't traumatize her again.
So I remember I brought a picture with me to school, and I got bullied a little bit for that.
Well, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure.
So she brought a picture of
Do
her
you
dad.
remember?
I do. I remember you telling me many years after, not the day of. I don't remember you told me the day of.
There was this boy making fun of me because I brought the picture to school, and I was like, "Oh, Dad," and I was like, "Yeah, he died today," and then he switched his tune up.
Because you had just brought a picture of your dad. Yeah, I think I do remember that. Yeah, those days were a big blur to me. I was just focused on my checklist of things. Yeah. I'm a checklist person, and that saved me. I was focused on my checklist of things I needed to do that I had created. But I'm probably on there was give Athena a picture to take to school.
But I do think that partially affected me more than I admit, because I still don't really, me, I don't really share very often unless it's kind of forced out of me. So this is a big deal for me.
I didn't force her.
No, she didn't force me. But I keep it very private usually.
She doesn't like it spoken about, and I've tried to respect that because I'm a talker about my experience.
Not necessarily spoken about, but just not
labeled you.
Yeah.
Like you don't like to be identified as the girl that lost her dad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which unfortunately people have done to her. And not me, not just me. I try not to do it. I try to be respectful.
Yeah.
But so you brought a picture. I'm just recapping. You brought a picture to school. The little boy saw the picture and said, "Who's that?" Or was teasing you about bringing a picture of your dad, and was like, "Oh, look at you." And you said, and you were like, "Yeah, he just died." And then what? Did he cry or what?
He was like, well, I don't really fully remember that, but I think he was just shocked, and he was like, "Oh my God," and then walked away.
Okay.
And then after that happened, because I was a little bit angry with him for doing that. so I said it kind of loud, and then after that happened, everybody like surrounded me and, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Oh,
But that is not the goal that I was
no,
trying to.
if you guys knew her
get from
personally,
that.
she is not someone that wants to be circled around and be the center of attention. But that, so you think that caused, I don't think I've ever heard you say that before, like that you think that caused you to not want to share that part of your life? You think that kind of
I just didn't
contributed?
like the attention that I got from it in that moment. So I kind of avoid trying to get that again,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
You talked about what helped a little bit during his illness, the consistency. What helped during his death? Like that, like after his death, maybe that day. You did mention going to school, actually, you felt kind of helped because it gave you kind of structure.
Yeah. I don't remember a lot from after that day, to be honest. I remember the funeral.
Mm.
But as far as like how I was feeling or my emotions from like then to the funeral, I don't really have a memory of it. No.
Do you want to talk about the funeral? How that made you feel, or?
I liked his funeral a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I remember I liked that it was an open casket, even though he looked different. But
Andy had lost a lot of weight in the last days of his life. So he didn't.
I felt, I guess when I was supported, is when I felt like the best. I felt a lot of support from my family and like you and Aunt Amy and her children and my cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, because they all came and even spoke.
Yes.
Yeah.
And getting to hear how he affected each of their lives in a positive way as well.
And you remember that at 10?
Yeah.
Like sitting there. And then you had some friends that came too.
Yeah. I did, yes.
And yeah, we had a lot of people that came out and supported us. And I was kind of surprised that. I mean, not surprised that they were at Andy's funeral, just like surprised that people had time to come and be there. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that came.
Yeah, there was. And I'm sure there was many more that I know I didn't probably realize was there, because it was a big day and a lot of emotions and a lot of sadness. I will say that most importantly, I'm glad that you liked his funeral and you felt it was a good representation of him. But the funeral director, she said it was one of the best funerals she had seen. So, hey, if the funeral director's giving you props. But more importantly, I'm glad to hear that you felt that. I don't think I've ever asked you that.
Yeah. I thought it was a really great funeral. And there was still people, I think that really spoke to it, because it was sad, but it wasn't like there was still people
laughing about things. Yeah.
And like enjoying themselves. I don't mean for that to sound, but that's what he would have wanted.
He would have wanted that. Yeah.
More of like celebrating his life rather than mourning.
Somber. Yeah. He wasn't really a somber, sad person. He was an easygoing and happy person. Like he enjoyed life, the good and the bad.
Yeah. So I remember it was such a weird array of emotions that day, because I would be like laughing with my cousins and then crying and then laughing. Like it was I don't think I've felt that many emotions all at once, you know?
Oh, that's true. Now that you mention it, I was stressed because I was trying to make sure everything went well, but I did have times that I laughed and cried, and yeah, I did feel supported too. I'm glad you did also.
Mhm.
And we had some good music that he loved. Yeah, that always reminds me of your dad, his music.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, the support, I guess, to
The
answer
support.
that question.
The support helped. Can you talk to me about what maybe people don't understand about losing a spouse? Not a spouse, sorry. Yeah, I could talk to you all day about that. No, about losing your dad, like losing a parent, particularly your father. Can you talk to me about what people don't understand
Um,
that you feel they don't understand?
feel
Yeah.
I feel that they don't understand. Um, I guess sometimes if like my peers that haven't grown up in a single parent household, or like with a single mother, uh, there's a little bit of a different lifestyle to growing up and stuff like that, that I guess there's a little bit of a lack of understanding there.
Okay, I can see that. So that's more of a lack of understanding about after you lose your dad, having a single mom, being raised, like there's a disconnect in people's comprehension of that environment or
Yeah, like
that dynamic.
I feel like you have to step up more
Oh, as
as
a
a
child. Yeah.
Than people that may have two parents.
That's true.
Not like become the partner or anything like that, but you have more responsibilities because you do.
Yeah, because
that's just
yeah. Because
how it
I
works.
mean, at least how I always try to explain it to you is like you're part of a team. Like this is how I always try to explain it to her. She's part of a team, and then there's like I'm the lead of the team, but she's a very important member of that team. Like she had to pull her own weight. There was no other people to pull the weight. So yeah, you still have all the responsibilities and things to do, but when you only have two people and one of them's the parent, then yeah, unfortunately the second person in the line has to pull more weight than she probably would, which is kind of I was going to say common sense, but it's not common sense, and that's what you're saying is that
Yeah.
other families.
I thought it was common sense, and then I noticed like people that like my peers that would have both parents wouldn't know necessarily maybe how to do certain things that I learned at like a really young age, but that was just because I had to learn them at a young age. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
And not all the time, but I noticed it more often.
Probably the older you got.
Yeah.
Yeah. That you've been doing something for.
Like when I went off to college, for sure, I noticed because there's a lot of people that didn't even know how to do their laundry. So I was like, oh.
You've been doing your laundry since you were 8, but or at least 10.
I think before that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. And also, it probably had effect. She had a mom that was trying to make her very independent,
Yeah.
you know, but also playing into that is losing a parent. And then, yeah, there's all the things that need to be done, and one person can't do all those things. So the child has to pick up more responsibility. Yeah. I can
Or
see
when I
that.
got my driver's license.
Hmm. Like, what about that? Like, because she got her driver's license the day she turned 16. We went to get them. And so there was no waiting. Yeah. Is that what? So talk to me about that.
Just like you become even more of like a person to lean on when you get your driver's license. Like I felt like I was kind of even more like a team member when I got my driver's license.
Oh, I see.
Because
that.
I could do more and take more responsibility.
True. That's true. She was able to pick up more things and like drive to whatever. And then I didn't have to drive you to school either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that. And do you feel that is, I was going to say, like, do you want people to know that is a strong benefit, or how do you feel about that? I guess I'm asking. It's like, how do you feel about that responsibility being put on you more?
I think it's a benefit, but I think I think it can tend to lead to more anxiety as you get older.
Talk to me about that a little bit, just because I
Um,
want to understand more.
like because you grow up a little faster and you're more aware, you're not as naive.
Oh,
And
okay.
so then you kind of
Feel the magnitude of what's going on.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
the weight feels
weight
heavier.
I can see that. Yeah. Huh. Thank you for sharing.
Mhm.
Now we're going to talk a little bit about growing up, which we've already been talking about. How do you feel now that you're 20? And you can talk about previous too. How has your grief changed as you've gotten older? And you can talk a little bit about, you talked somewhat about your grief after your dad, just a little bit. Can you like take us through that? Like as you were like 10, 11, like take us through that a little bit. Like how has it gradually changed, or has it gradually changed?
Yeah, I think it has changed. Now it's kind of a background thing, like something in the background that pops up every once in a while when like a major event happens or something like that. But when I was probably like 10 or 11, it was definitely like like it feels like your whole life is kind of just turned upside down. Like it's so different. And I liked the consistency. And so for that to be, even though he was sick and not really couldn't speak to me and stuff, it was still a part of the life that I had, you know. So when that was taken away, it was like the consistency was taken away, and I wasn't really sure what was going to happen next.
I can see that. Yeah, because he was always there when you got home from school. And yeah, okay. I guess I didn't, oddly enough, I don't think I thought about that. Like, because he was so sick, I didn't think it had as much of a, like, I knew it had an effect on you, obviously, but I didn't like realize even with his sickness, he was still a consistent presence for you. but he hadn't changed as much for you as he had like for me, because I knew him longer than you. But he had changed dramatically.
Yeah. And I also remember being kind of like anxious about where we were going to go next, like because we were building that house in Bernie,
Oh, that's right.
and then he passed before they finished it, and it was like a specifically a handicap
How
house
home.
home.
That's right, because your grandparents were going to live upstairs. We were going to live upstairs, and your grandparents were going to be downstairs, and your dad had his whole wing.
Mhm.
But then he passed like 2 weeks before that house was to be finished.
Yeah.
And I chose to cancel that house. And the builders were gracious and gave us all our money back. And I was busy making all those decisions and choices. I didn't really think about that making you anxious. That was our plan. We were going to live there.
Mhm.
And then we didn't, and we stayed where we were.
We moved back into
We
the
moved-
other house because we were living in
In the
the
next
next door house.
we were living together with Andy's parents because we were all taking care of him. And then that was next door to the house that we owned.
Mhm.
And we moved back into that house that we owned and had previously lived in together, Andy, Athena, and I. And we moved back there. So, and not to interrupt you, just I was trying to give a timeline there. So you were anxious about moving back into that house, the house that we had been before, or talk to me about that.
Well, I remember not really knowing. Like, you canceled the house and the other house,
Hmm.
and then we were in the next door house, and then we were gonna move back to the other house. But I remember not really knowing for sure what we were doing, like if we were gonna stay there or if we were going to.
I can see
If
that.
Grandma and Duda were gonna stay there, or there was just a lot of things that were up in the air. And I didn't really know what was gonna happen.
Oh. And I don't think that maybe it was the capacity or had the thought to because throughout this whole process with your dad, I remember I sat you down and said your dad is sick, those kinds of things, which I want to go back to that in a sec. And I don't think I did sit you down and say, oh, these are the decisions that we're going to make and we're moving here. That's true. I think some of it's because I wasn't sure myself. So I didn't, but I didn't really think about you being anxious. I just thought I don't know, you think kids don't really think about those things. At least I didn't. You have a roof over your head. Yeah. But knowing you now, as I do, and knowing you even more than I think I knew then, I could see you as a child being worried about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't realize that, I think. And we're going to step back just for a moment, and I'm going to ask Athena a little bit about a conversation I had with her when she was about 6 years old about her dad.
See if I can remember.
And I want to know if you remember it. But I took her to McDonald's in the Walmart, and I sat down and had a conversation to tell her that her dad had this disease, frontal temporal degeneration. And I just was going to see if she actually remembered that. If you don't, no big deal. I did sit you down and tried to explain what the disease was and all that. Do you remember that?
I remember the McDonald's and the Walmart, because I'd always get excited about the toys and the Happy Meals.
Yeah.
I don't think I remember that specific conversation. I remember not fully understanding that he wasn't going to get better.
Oh.
And that kind of taken a hit on me when I realized.
Oh, okay.
I think I just remember feeling like I couldn't fully comprehend what you meant by like he's not gonna get better till later.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were 6.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
So I just thought he was gonna just be like
Be
that forever,
sick.
or
Oh, okay.
and it didn't dawn on me till much later when I fully understood death and everything, that
Oh,
he was gonna die, and it was like a terminal
terminal.
thing.
Okay. Yeah, because at 6, I mean, I'm not super read up on my child development, but like 5 years old is when we start making our first memories. So by 6, I doubt you understand the concept of death and terminal illness. Although I spoke to her like she did, because I mean, that's just how I always spoke to her, because Athena was very intelligent. She is very intelligent. And I just always have spoken to her like she's a little adult, which, there's good and bad in that. But I don't think that I understood at 6 that maybe she didn't understand the concept of terminal illness, or daddy's not going to get better from this. Yeah. So so when do you think you did understand that?
I don't have a specific time.
Just gradually understood.
I do think this is weird. I think I remember the toy that I got.
Oh,
It was like
was
one
it?
of those the balls that like pop open.
Oh. Huh.
So maybe I do. I don't remember the conversation, but I remember the toy that I got. No,
that's okay.
Do you know what I'm talking? There was like this ball, and it like popped open and turned into like an animal.
Oh, I don't know if I remember, but I mean, I did take you to McDonald's and to a place that I knew you would be excited about to like help with the memory. I had intention. I did it intentionally. So like it wouldn't be like this big. I tried to make it like joy and sadness to get
one of those core memory.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Like mixing the sadness and the happiness. That probably threw you for a loop, but sorry. Thank you for sharing with me though, because like it's funny that you do remember like the toy and the conversation and being there, but I can get that you probably didn't have the ability to comprehend like dad's sick and he's not going to get better, like he's going. I'm not sure. Knowing me, I probably did say he's going to die. No, yeah, like no.
Well, I don't fully remember the conversation,
okay.
so you could have. But I also probably didn't immediately, like, even if you did say that, I probably had a little bit of hope, like,
Yeah.
Oh no,
but maybe I mean, I did do things with intention, so maybe I didn't just say like, oh, he's going to die. Yeah. But thank you for sharing that. Let's see. We're talking about growing up. You told us a little. We're going forward now. What changed as grief as you got older? Let's go back to that. You got older and you were telling us like now it's kind of like in the background, kind of like just there, right? And then, but at 10 and 11, it was pretty predominant. Like it was kind of your lot, like your life, or your like a big part of who you were, like your identity, maybe.
Yeah.
What about as a teenager?
In high school specifically?
Yeah. Because that's when you would have been a teenager.
Yeah. I remember, well, at that point, I think sometimes I think I would just pretend that I never had a dad.
Yeah, just to deal with it.
Yeah. Because I think it was just sometimes easier to deal with it. I don't do that anymore, obviously, but
Yeah, no, we all.
but I think because those years, like in high school, are so
Turbulent.
yeah, and so it was like they can be, I guess.
Yeah. Emotional, all the words.
A lot of, again, uncertainty. Like you don't really know
Something you're not.
where you're
you
gonna
don't.
go. No,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of uncertainty.
Yeah.
So it was either like focus. I was very focused, like do good, like in school, because
She was.
then you can be more certain about what you have more control of what you can do later.
Mhm.
I think was my head kind of thing.
And you kind of just didn't think about the loss of your dad. Like,
Yeah,
it just
not a whole
wasn't.
lot.
Yeah. And what about like interactions with friends that had dads and then they seen that you didn't have a dad? Like, how was that?
I didn't really talk about it unless they asked. It was one of those things, like, oh, what happened to your dad, or like, where's your dad? Then I would tell them. But other than that, most people didn't know, especially, well, because I went to high school in Louisiana for like a semester, and most of them knew because I lived with family, and it was just kind of common knowledge at that point. But then when I moved to the high school in Texas, the private one that I went to, I never really would mention it.
I remember that.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk about it much.
Yeah. And I always tried to respect her wishes in that area. And I feel like I did.
Yeah.
Exception of like maybe the administrative office, I would like. No, I think for this school, your high school, I don't even think I told your administrative office.
I don't think so. I think it was junior year, no, I think it was junior year, because that was kind of when everyone found out. It's like a whole big thing.
Oh. Do you want to talk about that, or and how it made you feel, or?
I can, but I wouldn't. I don't want to.
You don't have to give like details. You
make anyone uncomfortable.
Yeah.
For like how it happened, I guess.
Yeah.
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 I was basically giving a presentation on a grief camp, and I wasn't fully mentioning why I went to the camp or anything like that. I was just sharing it. I was like, this was really good.
Something that she was involved with, and she was sharing it as if like she was volunteered for Camp Agape.
Yes.
If you have kids that have lost anyone, there's great organization, Camp Agape, Texas. Shout out.
And then I got asked, like, oh, tell everyone why you went.
It was brought out that.
Yeah. And I wasn't really prepared to. It was like the whole class, and I wasn't really prepared to like tell everyone right then and there, especially. Right. But
so it was kind of brought out that she had lost her parent, and she wasn't anticipating to share that information, right?
Yeah.
Is there something you want to maybe say about that to people out there that might have people they know that they've lost a parent, and then that person isn't really talking about that? Maybe they're presenting half information. Then you want to maybe share your perspective on how that made you feel when that happened. And
I was just caught off guard, but I think in the end it did make the message more, people were more interested after. But I don't really have much else. I guess make sure it's okay with the person before you
mention their loss.
Yeah, like if they don't mention it out loud, then probably don't mention it.
Yeah.
If they don't share it themselves.
Just be sensitive to people and how they, I mean, I'm not speaking for you, but from what I've learned from her story, just be sensitive to people and how they share their loss. Like, not everybody likes just to speak about it, you know. I will say that, and that doesn't matter, like the loss of a parent or a loss of anyone in your life. Just be aware, I think.
Mm-hmm. Which I'm much better now. I don't mind sharing anymore. But at that specific time in my life, I was very much not wanting additional attention added to me. Now it's like not a big deal.
I mean, I guess in that situation, in the defense of, you know, of the person, or is that because you were talking about grief?
Yeah.
You were talking about grief, then maybe they thought, oh, well, she's already talking about it. It's, you know,
so she can share.
she's okay.
No, I understood.
Yeah.
But it was very much jarring. And the whole class, it was like very, it just caught me off guard, and it caught the class off guard as well. So it was, everyone was kind of like taken back.
Yeah,
I guess.
And I was thinking
made it even more feel like, oh my gosh,
because they were like in shock too.
Yeah,
I was thinking that probably was a win for Camp Agape, because everybody remembered. Oh yeah, she was talking about Camp Agape.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for sharing that and being vulnerable to share.
Yeah.
When you felt uncomfortable in your grief. Let's see. What do you wish you could ask him now? Like,
about taxes? No.
Me too.
Financial stuff, to be honest.
Because
I just know that he was really good at all that.
He
stuff.
was,
and money, and
he was very good at it, and I've been able to like maintain, but he was the whiz in the finance. I am taking a class.
So
to try to get
that
better.
is the thing that I consistently, something will come up and I don't really know what it is, or like the term, and I'm like, I wish I could just ask him, you know.
You need to.
And I can ask you, but a lot of times you have to do research as well. So
yeah. I wish he was here for that too. And many more things, but that I can see that being.
Yeah, that's the thing that consistently comes up that I think about often.
Yeah.
As I'm getting older, and like even like with buying cars or investing in like houses, or how that stuff all works. Which you're pretty good at it too, but I know you got most of it from him.
Yeah, yes. I did get most of my financial knowledge. Well, all my financial knowledge, other than what I've learned from Andy. And I mean, and his mind just worked that way. It was just really awesome. I wish he was here to teach you too. because I've always felt lacking in that area. But that's also why I've done a lot of research to try to help you. What about, so you wish you could ask him some tax questions, well, financial questions. Are there times that you miss him, like when you miss him the most? I know you said in like certain events and stuff, you had mentioned that. It was like, can you talk to us a little bit more about that? Like, how does your grief now ebb and flow?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's always kind of there. It doesn't go away. It's just lighter. And I'd say that it comes up more when like my graduation, like high school graduation, or like life events like that. Like if I think about getting married one day, or stuff like that, is when I think about it the most. Or
I loved what you said to me though when I asked you about during your high school graduation. Like, I asked her how she was feeling, if she was missing her dad, and she said, "Yeah, I'm missing him, but like I feel like he wasn't supposed to be here. Like, this is not the journey we're on. The journey we're on, he wasn't going to be here." Right? I thought that was so mature of you. I don't know if that was just you telling me that to make me feel better. But I mean, the Athena I know, like, I could so see you saying that. But
yeah, I can't be in the headspace where I think, a lot of times if I think about what it would be like if he was here instead of if he wasn't, then that's the things that make me more sad, instead of just taking life for what it is.
For what it is. That's her dad in her. that's some definite Andy going on there. Genes working out. Like, this is just what it is. So let's focus on how it is now, not how I want it to be, or how I wish
it's hard
it was.
not to do that, because sometimes you do just want to, like, I wish it was like this, or I want it to be like that, but you know it can't be like that. So
and I've gotten much better at doing that too, but I just thought it was so like mature of her that she was just like, well, that's not the journey that we're on. Like, he wasn't supposed to be here, so I can't really think about him being here. But I get it now, what you're saying. Like, that would just, why think that way when you would just make yourself sad when he can't be here anyway. So that wasn't the journey we're on. That's not the reality that we're in. So I can see that. It's very mature though, because not everybody can just go, well, that's not the reality we're in. So move forward. Her dad could, Andy, for sure. But thanks for sharing that. And that's things like that just blow me away, that I'm just like, wow, I never thought about that. Yeah, that's not reality. Like, why get caught up in the, oh, I wish he was here, I'm so sad.
But you still can do that. I still do that.
Yeah, there's a time and place for that.
Yeah,
for sure. We're going to move on to a little bit of, because this is a podcast that talks about faith and perspectives. So I'm going to ask Athena a little bit about her faith. How did losing your father, having a single mom, all the things, your whole experience affect your faith?
It made it harder at first, I would say. I didn't understand it, and I was really angry for a long time. But I think the more I sought to understand it, the easier it was to come to terms with.
How did you seek to understand?
by reading the Bible and what it says about loss. And
Firsthand, just reading it yourself.
yeah. And also Camp Agape helped me a lot with that, because they're a faith-based
That's true.
camp, and so they were really good at giving verses or things.
Redirecting them back to
Yeah.
the Lord.
Mm-hmm. Another thing that really helped me too was the thought that God gave his son. So he lost someone that he loved very much for us. And I lost my dad, so it was like easy. It was nice to have that to, I guess, relate to, not like know that he understood like loss. I think I didn't for a while. I hadn't made that connection, and it was difficult for me to feel like he understood. And then when I made that connection, and also leaning on him more as a father than I did before, is what really changed my journey.
Making you less angry or more maybe feeling more seen, or
less angry, because I understood that it wasn't him, it wasn't God that took my dad away. And that he understood what grief felt like. Jesus understood human feelings, and he's not just like this thing in the sky that has no emotion, or like is just
like we're puppets.
Yeah. It's like he actually cares for us. Helped me not be as angry or so angry.
Love that. Thank you for sharing. It's similar to my own perspective, realizing that God does love us and we're seen by him makes a huge difference. Is there anything else you would like to share, and any of the things that we've talked about, from your dad being sick and living that life, to losing him and the grief, and then now as an adult? Anything else you'd like to add?
I will say I still had a really fun childhood. I still enjoyed my childhood. It wasn't all like, oh, her dad's sick and stuff. I still had an enjoyable childhood.
We played a lot of silly games,
and sometimes it was funny to have my dad act like that. It could be funny occasionally. I don't remember if you didn't put the child lock on the car, but I have this very specific memory of you getting gas. We were driving somewhere, and you'd always have to put child lock on because you'd open the doors. And at the time, I was a little bit frightened, but he jumps out of the car. My dad jumps out of the car, and he's just running around the gas station, and he could run. Like he still had all his athletic abilities. It was just his mind that wasn't all the way there. So he could run, he could ride bikes.
It's a good thing I was a little bit athletic myself.
And I was sitting in the car, and she jumps out, and her wallet drops all over the place, and the cards are flying everywhere, and she's running after him, trying to get to him, and they're just running around the gas station. And I'm sitting there like, should I do something? I don't know. I don't know if I should do something. And I remember that really specifically.
It's a very vivid memory for me too.
Yeah.
Because he actually ran into the store, the gas station, and I had Athena, and I could not leave her in the car, and I did have to pick up my wallet, and I was trying to catch him. He got away from me, and he ran into the store, and I was kind of like, well, Lord, like it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And I did get Athena out of the vehicle. And we went into the store together to get him. And everything was okay. Like he wasn't going and booping anyone on the head. Because at this time that he would come to people and go, boop, boop.
See, it's like you have to laugh at it
Laugh.
now.
And luckily he had not done that to anyone in the store. And I was able to like get him, and we were able to, but that was a very stressful day, and a day that I realized that me, Andy, and Athena would not be making road trips of long distance by ourselves, just the three of us, because I could not handle both of them. It was like having two toddlers and one that you couldn't control.
He was a runner. And I remember too the bike ride. We went on a bike ride. This was like as he started to get sick, right?
Yeah.
Fully.
Yeah, we weren't sure. I wasn't sure what he had.
And we all went on a bike ride together, and he took off. And we didn't know where he went for a while. And we came home from the bikes, and he was not home yet. And I guess he just wanted to go on his own little bike ride.
I think so. Yeah, it was again a moment that I was having to decide. My husband, that is not acting correctly because I didn't know he had dementia at that time, or my daughter, who is a little girl and needs my help. So I chose Athena again, and luckily he came back in one piece and was safe. But it did take a minute, and I'm sure she's seen that I was super stressed because I didn't realize that he would just take off, and then he was no longer like having the sense of safety, like he wouldn't stop at road stops and things like that. And it was in that moment I realized that. It was in that moment. So again, off the things that we could do was bike riding together as a family. That got moved off. So no more of that. I mean, and a lot of things. That was a big memory for me too. I mean, it's interesting. Those are big memories for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, those were some big moments in our life that were like, okay, we can't do that anymore. I mean, we probably sit here all day and talk about like going to SeaWorld, and I don't know if you remember that one, or he pulled the lady's hair, and I was like, oh, I guess maybe we're not going to be able to do SeaWorld anymore. But it was just navigating what we could and couldn't do anymore for his safety and ours. But because pulling girls' hair in a public place, boyfriends usually don't like that. They can get a little bit puffed up. I'm not that big of a person and one last question. Thank you for sharing all of that. Mm-hmm. We're getting a little long on our time, that more than normal. I hope you guys don't mind. It's a little longer than my normal podcast, but what a beautiful guest. And like, I think a unique experience. Like, these are some things that I haven't ever asked her like directly. We don't sit down and have interviews about our grief very often. So I hope that you've enjoyed this. But one last closing question I asked you is, if your dad could see your life today, what do you think he would say to you?
I think he would say good job. I think he would be proud of me. I think he would probably have some funny jokes or something to say. Like if he had been watching my life or something, and he'd bring up some thing that I did in the past, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he would have any anything negative.
Oh, no, I don't think so either. That was just.
I think he would have positive things. Yeah. I think he'd say that he misses me and he wishes that he could be a part of my life, but he's proud of what I've done.
He'd probably also say, "Stop taking life so seriously."
Yes, he would probably say that as well. Lighten up a little bit. Not everything. You're not being attacked by a bear, okay?
Yeah.
Not everything is so serious all the time.
Yeah, I think so too. He would probably say, like, "Stop, your mama takes things too seriously, like, both of you, chill out." Although I've learned a little bit, I think I've learned a little bit about not taking life as seriously, but she got life taken seriously from me, honestly, and just who she is as a person, because she tries to do her best. She does her best, and it's impressive, but it's also can be stressful for her. As we all can relate in life, we often take things like so seriously and want to do our best, and I think that she also sometimes carries the weight of her experiences on her shoulders, of losing a dad and having a single mom and all that. I think if anything I can say to you is that you don't have all that on your shoulders. Like, please just be you, live your life. And that's just part of your story. It's not your story, and you don't owe anyone anything in life. Like, you owe yourself. You don't owe me, you don't owe anyone else. Like, it to be a certain way because of our situation, if anything. But thank you for being here and having this conversation with me. I love you.
Love you.
And you're beautiful inside and out. And thank you guys for listening. And I know, like I said, it's a little longer than my normal podcast, but I think it's worth the length. And as always, if you have anything that resonates with you in this podcast and you think it would help even just one person, please just share it. Give us some feedback. Let us know how it helped you, what it made you think about, and just hope that it helps you in your life, just carry you forward. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for watching and listening to Military Broadcast Radio on Roku TV. If you missed today's episode, the podcast will be available on
and all major platforms.